So before I get into this side of the presentation, I like to ask people, is there anyone who doesn't like when others find loopholes to legally avoid taxes? Now, here's one of those things to where, like the author of uh, Never Split the Different, Chris Voss says, don't be so sure of what you want that you wouldn't accept something better. Now, I know how it feels, y'all, being the ones paying all the taxes. Then you looking at all these 100 millionaires, billionaires not paying any taxes. Listen, do you really want them to pay as much taxes as possible, or do you want to learn how they do what they do, right? So that's one side of the coin. Let's say you're somebody who uh, you don't like that they're avoiding taxes. However, you wouldn't be against learning how you might be able to do some of the same stuff, right? Now, let's also talk about the person who says, hey, listen, I'm a red blooded American, and a part of being an American is paying taxes. And here, listen, once again, I believe pay whatever taxes that you are supposed to pay. I'm just against paying unnecessary, voluntary, additional taxes if you don't have to pay it. But even if you're somebody that believes that we should give all our money in taxes, my next question to you is, do you believe the government is handling your tax dollars correctly and appropriately and responsibly? If you don't believe that they're doing the responsible thing and they're handling everything correctly and appropriately, maybe, just maybe, you need to put some strategies in place to where if you made 100,000, instead of just giving them 30,000, you're able to hold on to that 30,000, and you're able to not just keep it for yourself as a greedy person, but you're able to donate to the charities that you know, like, trust. You're able to give to the friends and family members. Instead of telling friends or family members that you don't have nothing to give them, you're able to say, hey, here's the gift. You can have this, you can have that. You're able to see what your money is doing and handle it responsibly, like a good steward. If you had that choice, would you not take that choice? And I think most people, regardless of where they stand on this, would not be upset if they were able to give away more money or help more people that they know, right? So all truths are parallel. What creative things can you do with baking soda? And listen, I grew up in a in a neighborhood to where they did some creative things with baking soda. I'll tell you that much. I say they did some creative things with it, but I'm not talking about that, right? You can have a mouthwash with baking soda, teeth whitener, deodorant, fridge odor neutralizer, an air freshener, a whitening agent for laundry, kitchen cleaner, a garbage odor eliminator. One of my mentors, Doug Andrew, the godfather of IUL, he was the first person that showed me this. And when he said, and he asked me, and I said all of these things, and he said, Randolph, he said, every time I ask people this, they never say what it was actually made for: cooking. Baking soda was made to do creative things with cooking, right? So all I gotta say is, don't think about what it is, think about what it does. If I told you that there was something that was liquid, meaning that you can get to your money within 1 to 3 days without penalty. If I told you it was safe, meaning that you saw your money, you go to sleep, and you're not scared that you're going to wake up like a lot of people have woke up in the past, to where you've lost 20 to 40% of your principal overnight. What if I told you there was a place to where you can put your money to where you're getting good, consistent, tax-free rate of returns? And that last is tax-free, because here's the thing. Usually when people go looking at places to put their money vehicles, the first thing that they pay attention to is the rate of return. That's actually the third thing on the list. Because guess what? If I gave you an investment and that investment was earning 100% per day, meaning you put $100 in there, next day is $200, next day is $400, next day is 800, 100% per day. Does it matter how much money is earning if you can't access it? If I say, hey, guess what? Hey, this money, hey, you got $3 trillion in here, but you can't get to it. It's not liquid. It's not, you can't get to it when you need it. Or what if I said, yeah, it's earning 100% per day. However, there is a chance, a very strong chance, that when you go to sleep and wake up, all the money that you earned is going to be completely wiped away. So return doesn't beat liquidity and doesn't beat safety. But what's the point of the rate of return if the money is completely taxed when you go to get to it? So this is where you want your money to be. And I'll tell you, the best way in order for you to get something like that is a properly structured index universal life policy. Remember that I said that I was going to show you how you're going to have a family bank that's considered a legitimate business, and your personal assets are able to come along for the ride, but it's not going to keep you from working actively in your companies that you do business with the public. You have to buy assets like properly structured index universal life policy. Now, keep in mind, I said index universal life. I didn't say VUL. I said IUL. Uh, Variable universal lives are policies that are invested directly into the stock market, and the only thing that's guaranteed on it is your death benefit. Now, if that's what you want, so be it. I prefer to have my properly structured index universal life policy not invested directly in the stock market. I prefer it use the indexes as a measuring stick. So because it's not invested directly into the indexes, it's only using the indexes as a measuring stick. Whenever the market does good, you win. Whenever the market does bad, you don't make anything that year, but you don't lose anything either. How are they able to do this where they have the money set up to where they're not, you're able to earn money, tax-free money, but it not be considered invested directly in the market? What they do is they put your money into 7 and 10-year bonds and 50 by 50, a lot of times 50% loan to value ratio for commercial properties. Why do they do the 50 to 50 loan to value ratio for commercial properties? Because they know that usually when the market the real estate market drops, the most that it drops is 40%. And that way they can have a fire sale, make and still make 10% on top of their money. The same goes with for the 7 and 10-year bonds. Historically, as long as you're willing to ride out those 7 to 10-year bonds, they always make money. So they don't mind paying you out and using the indexes as a measuring stick for you. But we're going to go into a lot more detail on how that works. This is the way a lot of people have their finances set up, to where 80% of it is taxable with a full withdrawal, and then the other 20% has a LIFO, last in first out tax treatment. That 80% taxable with full withdrawal, you're looking at traditional IRAs, traditional 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans, SEF plans, deferred comp plans, pensions, and Social Security. And for those LIFO treated accounts, and what that means is when you put money into it, this account is going to be earning interest. But when you go to access the money, instead of it letting you access the money that you first put in, which is your basis, you can only access the money that came in last, which is the taxable interest. And a lot of those are savings accounts, CDs, stocks, bonds, EFTs, mutual funds, annuities, and real estate. You're paying taxes on that income, right? This is really how you should be set up. 40% of your retirement should be tax free, and then 40% taxable, and then 20% that LIFO tax. A lot of, once again, it's not about trying to say that you owe 0% in taxes. It's not avoiding. It's avoiding paying the unnecessary taxes. So how do we get at least And this is at least, y'all. This is not, I'm not telling you to just make sure that this is at least 40%. How do we get at least 40% of your income tax free? Once again, it's the properly structured index universal life policy. But let's keep moving.